In recent years, there's been a noticeable shift toward focusing on being. We hear it everywhere. Just be. You're enough as you are, or embrace the present moment. These messages have become powerful mantras, especially in wellness and spiritual communities. And while these ideas carry important truths, have you ever felt like there's almost a rejection of doing? Maybe you've even felt guilty for wanting to take action or pursue goals because it seems at odds with the message to simply be. In our quest for inner peace and presence, it can be easy to swing too far into the realm of being, where doing starts to feel unnecessary, or worse, like an ego driven distraction. But what if this extreme focus on being is actually a form of spiritual bypassing, an attempt to sidestep the work and action required to create meaningful change? Could it be that doing and being are not enemies, but rather two essential components of a balanced, fulfilled life? We've all been there, caught in the modern day hustle culture, where doing is prized above all else. We are taught to be productive, achieve, and make things happen, often at the expense of our well being. Burnout, exhaustion, and a constant feeling of never enough can become all too familiar. Naturally, as a response to this, the concept of being has emerged as a kind of antidote, a call to slow down, be present, and connect with your deeper self. But in some circles, this focus on being has become so dominant that it almost feels like doing is shunned or looked down upon. There's an underlying message that action, effort, or goal setting is somehow inauthentic, a sign that you're not fully at peace with yourself. The danger here is that this rejection of doing can lead to a kind of stagnation, where personal growth and the creation of the life you desire are put on hold in favor of a more passive, meditative existence. This, in essence, is a form of spiritual bypassing, using spiritual concepts or practices to avoid facing the real challenges of life. While being is essential, it's not meant to replace doing. In fact, they are inextricably intertwined. Without the balance of doing, being can become a way to avoid engaging with the world, a way to justify an action, or a path to disconnecting from your true potential. Imagine someone who spends their days meditating, cultivating inner peace, and embracing the present moment. On the surface, this might seem like an ideal way of being. But if there's no movement forward, no action taken toward their dreams, no contribution to the world around them, eventually a sense of dissatisfaction may creep in. Why? Because deep down, we're all creators. We're wired not just to be, but to do, to express, to build, and to bring our visions to life. Being without doing is incomplete. It can feel soothing in the short term, but over time, it leads to a lack of fulfillment. While being allows you to connect with your inner self and find peace in the present moment, it's through doing that you engage with the world and bring to life your desires. It's in the act of doing that we learn, grow, and evolve. On the flip side, doing without being is equally problematic. If you're constantly in motion, taking action without checking in with your deeper self, you can easily fall into a pattern of striving, pushing, and chasing outcomes that aren't truly aligned with your core values or desires. This is how burnout happens, how you can achieve success but still feel empty inside. When doing and being are disconnected, there's always a sense that something is missing, no matter how much you accomplish. Rather than seeing doing and being as opposites, it's essential to recognize that they are two sides of the same coin. They feed into each other, and one cannot truly exist without the other. Doing gives shape to your being, while being gives depth and meaning to your doing. The key is to find a balance where your actions flow from a state of being, rather than from a place of lack, fear, or ego-driven ambition. When you approach life this way, doing becomes an expression of your authentic self. It's not about striving for external validation or ticking off a list of accomplishments. It's about taking actions that are aligned with who you truly are. And when you're rooted in a state of being, your actions carry a different energy. They feel more intentional, more effortless, and more fulfilling. Spiritual bypassing often happens when people use the concept of being as a way to avoid the discomfort of taking action. It's easy to tell yourself that you don't need to do anything, that simply being is enough, when in reality there's fear or resistance lurking beneath the surface. This avoidance can take many forms: procrastination, indecision, or even an overemphasis on meditation, mindfulness, or being present as a way to escape the challenges of real life. True spiritual growth, however, requires both being and doing. You can't bypass the work of creating the life you want by simply meditating or practicing mindfulness. Inner peace and presence are foundational, but they need to be paired with action to create lasting change. If you want to see a shift in your career, relationships, or health, you can't just wait for things to happen. You need to take inspired action, grounded in a state of inner alignment. So, how do you find the balance between doing and being? The answer lies in alignment. When your actions are aligned with your inner state, when your doing flows from a place of being, everything starts to fall into place. You stop feeling like you're constantly pushing a boulder uphill, and instead you experience flow, where your efforts feel natural and fulfilling. Alignment means that your doing is not just random busy work or a series of tasks that need to be checked off. It's action that is deeply connected to who you are, your values, and your purpose. And being doesn't mean passivity or inaction. It means being fully present in whatever you're doing, bringing your whole self to each moment, and acting from a place of inner peace and clarity. When you take action from a state of alignment, the quality of your doing changes. You're no longer acting from a place of fear, anxiety, or the need for external validation. Instead, you're moving with intention, purpose, and clarity. Your actions are infused with the energy of your inner state. And as a result, they carry more power. You become more efficient, more effective, and more fulfilled by what you create. Think of it like planting a seed. The act of planting, doing, is necessary to grow a plant, but the quality of the soil, being, determines how well that seed will grow. If you plant your seed in fertile, well-nourished soil, it will thrive. But if the soil is dry, depleted, or full of weeds, your efforts may not bear fruit. In the same way, when your actions are aligned with a healthy, grounded state of being, they will produce more meaningful and lasting results. For those who have leaned heavily into the realm of being, it can be challenging to embrace the idea of doing again. There's often a fear that action will pull you out of your peaceful state, or that you'll fall back into old patterns of overwork or burnout. But when you approach doing from a state of being, it becomes a different experience. You're not forcing or striving. You're allowing your actions to flow naturally from a place of inner alignment. It's also important to remember that doing doesn't have to be grand or overwhelming. Sometimes the most powerful actions are small, consistent steps taken in alignment with your deeper self. Whether it's a conversation you've been avoiding, a project you want to start, or a decision you need to make, each action, when aligned, contributes to the unfolding of your vision. Ultimately, living in alignment means that you're fully engaged with both being and doing. You're present in the moment, connected to your inner self, and taking actions that move you toward your goals. There's no need to choose between doing and being, because the two are not in conflict. They are partners in creating a fulfilled and meaningful life. When you bring this balance into your life, you'll find that your actions no longer feel draining or disconnected. You'll be able to pursue your dreams with a sense of joy, peace, and purpose. And the outcomes you create will feel more satisfying because they are born from a place of inner alignment. The Inner Foundation series is designed to help you bridge the gap between doing and being, offering tools to align your inner state with your external actions. Whether you need to strengthen your vision, shift limiting beliefs, or cultivate emotional mastery, this series provides a framework for balancing your inner world with purposeful action. By integrating both aspects, you can create lasting, meaningful change in your life.